welcome to the world of NekoDecoPop. I'm Nat, and today we're going to be breaking down all of the anime I watched during the summer 2025 anime season. This season of anime was just chef's kiss. We are talking one of the strongest seasons I have seen in years, and I have so many thoughts about it. Since I watched 19 anime this season, because I'm allergic to free time and healthy work-life boundaries, we should probably get into it. I did have to cut this puppy down so that we weren't here all day, so if you'd like to see my full, unfiltered thoughts, please consider subscribing to my Patreon to watch the extended director's cut. I have got a lot of videos coming up, including my next ranking anime video series later this month, so make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss it. With all that being said, let's get into it. First category is continuing anime. To Be Hero X continued to prove itself as one of the best anime of 2025 and one of the most creatively impressive anime ever. Seriously, I haven't seen an anime feature do it this good since Into the Spider-Verse. The bulk of this second core was flashback lore to the earlier years of the commission, so it was mostly in 2D. But when it started to switch back in the final 2 episodes, they really decided to flex their animation skills and knocked it out of the goddamn park. The finale was such an incredible culmination of the series, and I absolutely loved seeing all the characters who we'd previously only seen as 2D in their best 3D selves. The second core really filled in the blanks, and I loved how all the stories and timelines fed into themselves. I also thought it was a brilliant choice to not introduce X until the final episode. I know some people were disappointed with the finale, but I think it was the perfect setup to season 2, which is going to be a tournament arc and is rumored to be late 2026 or 2027. They did such an incredible job at getting us to care so deeply about all the competitors, so it's going to be very interesting to watch that arc play out. Since it is a Chinese donghua, I would highly recommend watching it in Chinese. Crunchyroll will automatically play it in either Japanese or English, but with all the world building, as well as all the text and signs being in Chinese, watching it in its original language truly does make this spectacular anime come to life. Since the first core was slightly stronger, we're going to give To Be Hero X a 9 out of 10. Witch Watch is truly one of the best comedy anime I've seen in years, and it doesn't even try to take itself seriously. I love all of our dumb babies so goddamn much. I love their spirit, I love their energy, I love their ridiculously dumb side antics that went so far as they produced a whole ass shonen anime within the anime, not once, but twice. And went a step further with a fan artist and writer who make a doujinshi out of the show. This is an anime written by anime fans for anime fans, and it is just so dumb in all of the best ways. We continue our journey with Nico, a teenage witch who lives with her familiars, Morihito, an ogre descendant, Kanshi, a tengu, Keigo, a werewolf.
What are we? Werewolves, not werewolves.
And Miharu, a vampire. Nico is constantly up to her bullshit, thinking, magic can just solve anything, and for some things it definitely does, and for others she just blows everything to hell and back. Morihito is having to parent all of these ruly teenagers who now have taken over his home. Since he's had to keep everything so tightly together his whole life, it was really nice to see him loosen up and start to actually enjoy his teenage years. Keigo is still the most insufferable hipster, and I love his cringy ass so much. And Miharu is a wonderful addition to the cast whose extraness added so much. Plus, this season we got the student council, who was literally comprised of anime tropes. This anime is just so perfect, and every single episode had me grinning ear to ear. Now, the final episode got delayed to October 6th, so I haven't seen it, but just going off of the rest of the series, I am more than happy to give Witch Watch a very well-deserved 9.5 out of 10. Next category is sequels. To absolutely no one's surprise, Dandadan continued being one of the best shows this decade, and this second course somehow raised the bar even higher. The antics this season started off ridiculous and ended up batshit. They literally transformed a 3-panel sequence from the manga into a 4-minute musical performance with the guitarist from Megadeth and the vocalist from Dragon Force and Grand Rodeo.
Going through the frost-bitten sky, song of the grimmest lullaby, pain that you suffered, bleed from.
Every single episode, they brought their A game and showed the anime industry what true artistry and creativity looks like. For this season, our gang got to deal with the following: a centuries-old giant death worm, Evil Eye, a Visual Kei exorcism band, classical composers gone wild, mecha Buddhas, and a goddamn kaiju. One of my favorite aspects this season was that the wider audience finally started to understand why Gigi is such a wonderful character. For some reason, people seem to really hate him in the first season, which is a goddamn crime because he is one of my favorite characters this whole damn show. Yes, he's loud, over the top, and cringy as hell, but I love our boisterous, neurodivergent best boy. And now so many of y'all love him too.
Ya papa, ishanten. Hashaku koi wa ike no koi.
Also absolutely loved how they're developing Momo and Okarun's relationship. Now, I am a grown-ass woman who consumes a lot of spicy shit, so you know you're doing something right when you have me squealing and kicking my feet over 2 teenagers partially holding hands. If you haven't gotten on the Dandadan train, this is your sign from the universe to watch it. And if you're Jerome, have you watched it yet? I want to talk about it at work. Father Jerome, Father Jerome, Father Jerome. Do it! Dandadan obviously gets a 10 out of 10. Kaiju No.8 Season 2 proved that it was definitely worth the wait. And I don't care if people call me basic, I fucking love this show. I love the characters, I love the action, I love the big kaiju going boom boom. This shit's just the ultimate crowd pleaser, and my ass was sat the entire goddamn time. Am I really irritated that they ended the season where they did? Yes, cause what in the actual you guys? We couldn't have a full 24 episode season. You had to end it there? Ooh, gonna have to go take a lap real quick cause your girl was heated when she wrote this at 3 a.m. Just kidding, I straight up just had to drop the script and go to sleep cause I was way too heated. So it is now the next day, and yeah, even with that extra time, that cliffhanger was extremely disrespectful. Like, they set up so much for the next season, and who knows when we're gonna get that. This season continues the mystery of who the f*** is Kaiju No.9 and what does he want from Kafka and what the hell is he planning? Long story short, he is planning a goddamn cataclysm. And yeah, when they reveal that plan, woof, like that shit hurt. Especially because it just ends there like, ugh. Compared to the first season, there was a lot more setup for the final arc, which is fine, but it just wasn't as dynamic as the first season, since the first had to build so much up to explain this world to the audience. even though it wasn't quite as dynamic, it still hit ridiculously hard, and I was so happy to be back with the crew. I am so excited to see how they're going to continue to develop his character, especially because I feel like it's only a matter of time until he crosses that point of no return. I cannot wait to watch the next season. With action anime, I don't really like reading the manga because I just want to see that masterpiece animated in its full Technicolor glory. So please, for the love of God, do not spoil it for me. I will cry. Kaiju No. 8 Season 2 gets a 9 out of 10. When it comes to toilet-bound Hanako-kun, I am always weirdly hesitant to start it, but then quickly remember just how ridiculously good this show is. And yeah, Season 2 locked the in, and the second part really kicked into high gear. They really went for the horror this season and even had a few scenes that genuinely creeped me out. Things are getting really weird at this school, like weirder than they ever have been before. Apparitions are showing up way more frequently, something really off-putting is happening with Aoi, the Sixth Wonder is doing some really fucked up shit, and Hanako is brewing up scheme after scheme to help try to save Nene. But time is running out for everyone, and this season sees the biggest event that completely fractures both the human and supernatural world. The insane amount of world building, matched with the jaw-droppingly gorgeous style and color palette, makes this a feast for the eyes. I am genuinely incredibly excited for the next season. We might have to wait a hot minute for it because it took 4 years to get season 2, so who knows how long it's going to take to get season 3. Regardless of that length, I will be here and seated for that momentous day. Toilet-bound Hanako-kun Season 2 gets a 8 out of 10. Sakamoto Days Part 2 was so much fun. Like, I don't care that people didn't like the first season, and I can overlook the gripes that people had with the animation, because this season was so goddamn good. They really took everything wonderful from the first part and kicked it into high gear. This season also introduced my favorite character of the series. I don't know anything about him except that he's an old man, and he is one of the strongest characters I have ever seen in anime. I would love to see him go toe-to-toe with some of anime's greatest fighters, because I think he might just sweep the floor with them. This season focuses on the imminent threat of the new group of serial killers who have been sent to take out Sakamoto. All while Sakamoto is just trying to get more information about the mysterious villain who is systematically destroying the assassin world from the inside out. I really loved how this series balances out all of these serious storylines with the comedic and wholesome slice-of-life antics of Sakamoto. After all, he's really not about all this bullshit he keeps getting roped into. But that bullshit is threatening his family time, and by God is he not going to let that shit stand. Sakamoto Days is just such a joy to watch, and I've loved both parts equally. As for the animation issues, they really did start to get better by the end. I would still love to see the show get the animation that it deserves, but it's serviceable enough and it's not as glaring as part 1. I love Sakamoto. I love the rest of the dum-dums. I love this show, and I am excited to binge both parts together to see how much more I love this anime after. Sakamoto Days Part 2 gets a 8.5 out of 10. Oh look, it's a Yuri, it's a harem too, and they're growing closer now. What could go wrong now? What the fuck was that? Why is there now essay and coercive control? I'm running out of rhymes now, so I'm gonna end this song now, but literally fuck this show. Cause literally, fuck fuck this show? Like, what do you mean there is SA in episode 2? That is then followed up by Mai gaslighting Reneko that what she just experienced wasn't that bad. And then she jokes about if this was a week earlier, she would have SA'd her harder. And then in episode 3, she gears up and is about to R-word her until she's interrupted. Long story short, this is a shit show, and I yelled about it a lot in this particular video, so if you want to see me lose my shit in 4K, just go watch that. When it comes to this anime, it is a tough one to weigh, because on one hand, I hated the first 8 episodes, especially the first 4. Mai is just bulldozing past Reneko's boundaries and SAing her left and right. Then Satsuki just uses Reneko to get back at Mai, but at least she respects her boundaries but still treats her like a prize to be won. And then the last 4 episodes happened and god damn it, you guys, they were actually really good. Ajisai is and will always be best girl. And even though I swore I would not keep watching, I spoiled myself on the light novel, and yeah, I want to see that get animated. So yeah, rating this one is tough because episodes 1 through 4, 2 out of 10. Episodes 5 through 8, 5 out of 10. And episodes 9 through 12, like a 8 out of 10. So we're just gonna average it all out and give There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless a 5 out of 10. The summer Hikaru died was my most anticipated anime of 2025 and has been since it was first announced last year. So, did she live up to the hype? Let me just take a moment to gather myself so I can emphatically scream to the high heavens that yes, I don't think y'all realize how much I adored this anime. Like, it is a modern day masterpiece and everything I could have ever wanted from it. Everything about this anime is perfect. And not only that, it finally broke the curse of bad horror anime and gave us an actually terrifying horror anime. Is it super scary in your face 24/7? No. It's the kind of quiet horror that lives in the back of your mind, just waiting for you to let your guard down so it can strike. And then when you finally relax, it ruthlessly attacks all of your senses in full force using horrifying visuals and bone-chilling sound design. This is the type of horror that lingers even in the quieter moments. What was even more impressive was the underlying story wrapped inside of the horror that dived deep into the queer experience, capturing a truly beautiful and devastating tale. Layers upon layers dissecting acceptance, societal stigma, self-hatred, and the cost of hiding yourself. Perfectly crafted in a story whose ripple effects have and will continue to shape the queer anime community for years to come. The story follows Yoshiki and his best friend Hikaru, who find themselves in an impossible situation. Something horrible has happened to Hikaru which forever changes his life. But not only him, terrifying and disturbing events start ripping their village apart as the barrier between the living and dead world starts to break down. This is a modern masterpiece that is going to reshape horror and queer anime as a whole. And I am so fucking happy to be alive to witness it. The Summer Hikaru Dies gets a 10 out of 10. Nyaight of the Living Cat has one of the dumbest concepts I have ever seen, but it's pulled off with such conviction that you can't help but admire the fuck out of that dedication. I cannot stress enough just how fucking stupid this anime is in all of the best ways. It is a zombie show, except people turn into cats instead. And to fight the cats, the survivors have to do it in the most gentle manner because they just can't bear the thought of hurting those precious little fur babies. So think of all of the zombie and post-apocalyptic tropes and replace them with cats, and you have this absolute gem of an anime. What makes Nyaight of the Living Cats humor hit so hard is that it is played totally straight with the utmost seriousness. What makes it even better is that it is directed by the acclaimed Japanese director Takashi Miike, who is known for his brutal horror films such as Audition and One Missed Call. I think that's what makes this anime feel unique, in that it truly does feel like a horror film format instead of an anime. Except this film is a love letter to all of the great zombie films from the past, and in the hands of such a horror legend, it truly does all come together. That being said, this isn't exactly a perfect anime, but it is such a fun time putting its full-ass self out there that the smaller pacing and other issues really don't take away much from the finished product. This is definitely not going to be for everyone, and for many, it might just come across as super cheesy and cringe. But for those who understand and appreciate the homages to all of the horror greats, you are absolutely going to adore this. I personally had the best time showing it to my bestie, who helped introduce me to horror and has patiently held my hand as I've descended into the genre. We are gonna give Nyaight of the Living Cat a 7.5 out of 10. I did want to get a professional's opinion on this, so Tiff, what did you think of the anime?
What'd you think? What'd you think of it?
And that is the frontline reporting from Tiff on this anime. City the Animation is a wild ass show. Like, they really let every intrusive thought take hold and get animated, and it is absolutely amazing. From the creator of Nichijou, it is no surprise that this anime is beyond unhinged. Match that with the absolutely masterful animation from Kyoto Animation, and you have this jaw-droppingly impressive anime. It might be easy to miss because of its more simplistic style, but the animation is next level. Mother's Basement said it best.
Theoretical ideal of animation direction as an artistic discipline is for every single frame and every single line of background art in a show or movie to look like it could have plausibly been drawn by the same person using the same tools. Of course, this is much easier said than done, ensuring that tens of thousands of drawings and or cel-shaded 3D renders from dozens or even hundreds of different artists are all absolutely consistent in their coloration, line weighting, and overall style on time for broadcast 13 weeks in a row is a truly Herculean task.
The rest of that video is fantastic, and I've linked it in the description, so definitely check it out and give him some love. City is one of those comedy anime that lives in the realm of absurdism, and never for a day in its life tried to take itself seriously. Since we're focused on the whole city, we bounce between characters and the unhinged antics some of these townspeople get up to. We've got the broke college kids doing anything to make money. We've got that one kind of insane rich lady who lives in a tower and can literally make anything happen. We've got these school kids ranging from the popular heart girl who's narcoleptic, to the two girls who only live in side quests, to the guy who has his own main character anime. We've got the stressed out mangaka and his even more stressed out editor who's got an interesting side project play thing on the side. We've got these so-called responsible adults who do not even remotely have their shit together, and we have everyone else. City is such a fun show and was an absolute joy to watch. Add in the truly ridiculous animation levels and you have one of the most impressive looking and enjoyable shows possibly of the entire decade. Definitely looking forward to rewatching this and getting to dive even deeper into the insanity. As of right now, we are going to give City the Animation a 8 out of 10. Turkey Time to Strike is one of those anime to show to your friends to watch their reaction when the true identity of the show is revealed. For that, it is a fun show to watch, especially since the twist is a very unique one that I definitely did not see coming. So overall, Turkey definitely had its moments, but there was just something massive missing. Maybe it was the really cheesy dialogue or some of the world building elements that felt super fractured, but this anime just did not work for me. But let's get to the big twist. I'd still recommend watching this show even if it's just the first episode so you can experience that what in the actual fuck moment that made me laugh out loud. So, here is your chance to click to my final score so you can get that experience in your own time. If you don't care about spoilers or you've seen it, let's get into it. So, the big twist is that at the end of the very lackluster first episode, at the end of their bowling game, they get isekai'd back in time to feudal Japan. Our main characters must now traverse existing in Japan during the Sengoku period, which is known as the Warring State period during the 15th and 16th century. Although there are very intense and serious historical threats, as well as the whole time travel, we gotta be careful not to fuck up the present thing, literally all of those problems were barely an inconvenience. They seem like they're big issues, but then they're solved so easily that it removes any stakes this show could have. The ending was really cute though, and I did like how they tied the past and present together, but it was just too rushed to have even much of an impact. So yeah, I think this anime had a lot of potential, but it just didn't have the strength to fully pull off what they were trying to do. So because of that, we are going to give Turkey Time to Strike a 6 out of 10. With You in the Rain falls into the anime genre Iyashike, which encompasses healing anime. Other examples include Mushi Shi, Laid Back Camp, My Neighbor Totoro, and many others. The calming and healing vibes are in full force in the very first episode where our main character Fuji discovers an animal on the side of the road as she's walking home in the rain. Is it a dog, a cat, a raccoon, a tanuki? Nobody really knows, but this adorable furry ball of joy can communicate via notepad and makes its intentions very well known. After adopting it, Fuji's life slowly starts to soften, opening her up to deeper relationships, a more fulfilling work life, and just more in general as she now has someone to share her everyday life with. The overall plot is incredibly laid back, but not in a way that makes it boring or a chore to get through. Even though there are no big life or death situations, or even ones with high stakes, With You in the Rain is truly a joy to watch. This is the type of calming anime that's perfect at the end of a hard day when you just need a reset after the horrors of the day. This anime is so goddamn comforting, and especially in this day and age. It is so important to be able to take care of ourselves and replenish our strength for the fight ahead. I truly cannot recommend this one enough, especially on a rainy day all cuddled up with your favorite blanket with your fur babies. With You in the Rain gets a 8 out of 10. When it comes to See You Tomorrow at the Food Court, you kind of have to approach this anime with the right mindset. It is only 6 episodes. It only takes place in a food court, and for the most part, there's only 2 characters. They are 2 opposite attracts besties forced apart by different high schools decompressing together. They don't talk about anything groundbreaking or even deep. It's just 2 teenagers yapping about their special interests and dreams that they're working towards. It is possible to have very low-stakes slice-of-life anime and make it work. So, the million-dollar question is, did they make it work? Kind of. So, some of the segments were super cute, hilarious, and engaging, and others were kinda just there. It was nice to see flashbacks of how a gyaru and straight-laced students became besties, as well as some of the more meta fandom obsessions they dived into. But yeah, this anime was just kind of there, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's the type of anime that you enjoy, but yeah, it just wasn't quite enough to fully work for me. I did enjoy it, and the OP was absolutely adorable, but overall, it just didn't quite do it for me. I was very happy to support it though, especially after I found out that the writer and illustrator of the manga, Shinichiro Narie, is trans. We love seeing more and more LGBTQ voices being represented and celebrated in the anime industry. I am so happy that I found out about him, and I will be cheering him on in all of his future projects. See you tomorrow at the food court gets a 6 out of 10. Lord of Mysteries is a fun watch, but Jesus is it difficult to follow. There's some anime who hold your hand even to the point of condescension, and then there's animes like this that leave you to die in the goddamn desert. The story is super cool though, like random dude gets isekai'd to an alternate Victorian steampunk world full of supernatural abilities and a power system based around leveling up to a godlike beyonder. The mysteries he investigates are very engaging, and the mystery and horror elements are super solid. Plus, the CG blend animation is absolutely gorgeous, even if it is a little rough around the edges. Lord of Mysteries is based off of the wildly successful Chinese web novel series of the same name. For fans of the novels, I think you will really enjoy this anime. But for anime-only fans, you are gonna need to be locked in to fully appreciate this one. And even then, you might still struggle like me. I really feel like there's something slightly broken with this adaptation. Maybe it needed more episodes so that it didn't jam-pack so much into every single one. Maybe the translation or the screenplay was off. Like, I don't really know, but I do know that it shouldn't be this hard to follow an anime. I am not saying to sacrifice lore to dumb it down, but this needed something to help make it easier for audiences to understand. I did a little digging, and it seems like this adaptation crammed a lot of chapters into every episode and jumped around sequence-wise, meaning that many sections were out of order and some were just completely dropped. If you enjoyed this anime, what were the elements that worked? Like, am I just missing something? Like, I really want to like this, and I feel like I'm doing a disservice by being constantly confused by it. There's supposed to be 5 seasons of this, but I honestly don't know if I'm going to keep watching. So for all those reasons, as much as it pains me, I think I'm going to have to give Lord of Mysteries a 7 out of 10. Clevatess is an anime that I was honestly gonna pass on. Like, I'm very hit or miss when it comes to fantasy, but my friends encouraged me to watch it, and I am so happy that they did, cause goddamn, this was good. Like, ridiculously good. Like, painful to stop watching good. Like, bringing the dark fantasy anime genre back to life good. Clevatess does not pull any punches, especially when it comes to violence and gore. Like, damn, that first episode was brutal as fuck, and I am here for it. The story follows the hero Alicia, who is sent on a journey alongside the heroes from her kingdom to defeat the dark beasts that guard the borders. Humanity and humanoid kind are only able to explore so much of the continent since the borders have been guarded by dark beasts for centuries. Alicia's journey takes a dark turn that results in her life path being completely and forever altered. The new one that she's set on challenges everything she knew about her world and dark beasts as a whole. It brings her face to face with her own mortality and pushes humanity to the brink of destruction. That is all I'm gonna say about the plot, because this is one of those anime that you truly deserve to experience in your own time. For those of y'all who loved 90s fantasy anime, this show was made for you. From the color palettes to the sound design and score, this is straight up out of Berserk in all of the best ways. It felt like a love letter to the dark fantasy anime which shaped the genre, and it paid homage to its predecessors in the most respectful and honoring way. I truly do feel like Clevatess is a turning point for dark fantasy anime and a leader in the genre's history as a future anime classic. I'd highly recommend this one. Like, I didn't think they had the ability to make anime like this anymore, but Clevatess truly does give me hope for the future of anime. And for that, we're gonna give her a 9 out of 10. Let's Go Karaoke did have a lot of cute moments, but the weird to semi-sketchy ones really kept it from being great. The overall concept is a lot of fun. You've got a Yakuza singing karaoke and making it his life mission to sing it as well as possible to win a karaoke concert. You've got Yakuza singing all of the popular songs that we all know and love. And there's even a perfect representation of how us regular people sound like whenever we attempt to sing Ado. The semi-sketchy part comes when our Yakuza in question decides to pick up a 14-year-old off the street to become his singing teacher. Does anything romantic happen between the two? Thankfully, no. But there's some sketchy borderline flirting that had me yelling, "Are we really doing this here?" Thankfully, it's very minimal, but it was still there, so that automatically made it lose a handful of points for me. If you can put all of that aside, it is a cute and funny anime. There's not a whole lot of plot, but that plot goes places by the end, which makes sense because you got a Yakuza involved, so naturally shit is not going to be just hunky-dory. I think it was a good call to keep this at 5 episodes because any longer, it definitely would have started dragging. It did have a lot of hilarious and wholesome moments that made me giggle each episode, but yeah, the whole semi-flirting nature between this grown-ass man and a 14-year-old boy just had me like, what are you doing? But if you can turn your brain off and enjoy that without, that dramatically dark shadow hanging over you, I don't know, I think you'll have fun with this anime. For me, it was always kind of just there, so because of that, I am still gonna try to remember the good moments, and we can do a little compromise and let's give Karaoke a 6 out of 10. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity is peak romance anime. Goddamn did I love my time with this show. The romance balanced with humor while always giving the more serious moments their time to shine was done so well. Our couple is an opposite attracts pairing whose opposing school automatically put them at odds. But when they come across each other at Rintaro's family bakery, Rintaro and Wagari start to get closer and romance blooms from there. Rintaro and Wagari's relationship develops so organically, and the story allows them to truly take their time. It doesn't throw in a love triangle or other romance tropes that usually make me want to rage quit a romance anime. It just allows them to exist. And as their worlds come together, so do their friends, and it makes everyone challenge their own biases. This explores not only the school rivalry, but also class, appearance, and societal bias that is naturally inherited and passed down through learned behavior. Usually I'm very impatient when it comes to slow burns, but when it's done this well, how can you not fall in love with it? My biggest gripe is with how Netflix absolutely butchered the release in the US. This anime was supposed to come out in July, but it got pushed back to September. But when it came out in September, they decided to drop it one episode at a time, meaning that it won't all be out until November. I waited patiently for that September drop, but after seeing that shit, I went all One Piece on this and quickly caught up with the rest of the world. I'd highly recommend using a VPN to watch this because it is so worth it. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, God, that's a tongue twister, try saying that 3 times fast, gets a 8.5 out of 10. Takopi's Original Sin is an anime that will hurt you deep down into your soul. For many, it's honestly a one-and-done anime, and for some, it's a never in my wildest dreams will I ever fucking watch this anime. Major trigger warning with this puppy because it's got a lot of SI, DV, and bullying. Because of that, this puppy is dark, like really dark, like kids grappling with unaliving due to severe bullying and neglect in the first episode dark. Definitely not a series to binge unless you have the stomach and mental fortitude to make it work. It is a beautifully made and masterfully executed work of art, but I cannot stress enough to please proceed with caution. It's honestly a miracle that I was able to make it through it at all. We follow Takopi, a extraterrestrial from planet Happy who goes to Earth to spread joy. Unfortunately for them, they end up growing attached to one of the unhappiest children I have ever witnessed in anime, who's being bullied, neglected, and constantly swamped with SI. The story follows them as each layer of her tragic life is revealed. But not just her. The other kids around her also come from truly horrible homes, and you watch with horror as each new development just gets in there and rips your heart out. This really is not for the faint of heart, and if you have triggers around any of the warnings I gave earlier, this might just be one to skip. But if you can stomach the painful and devastating journey, it is so worth it. This is one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking anime I have ever seen, and the raw and fluid power of the animation is a true feast for the eyes. I'm honestly still recovering from it, so I'm gonna just leave it here. But if this series feels like an anime that you can consume safely, I'd highly, highly recommend it. Takopi's Original Sin gets a 9 out of 10. Gachiakuta is one of those crowd pleaser anime that got me, someone who does not give a fuck about shonen, invested. The world building, the dark brutal storytelling, the gorgeous unique animation and style. It is very easy to see why so many people like this puppy. Plus the character style is so nostalgically perfect and familiar to Soul Eater, which makes sense when you learn that the author Kei Urana was the manga assistant to the Soul Eater creator Atsushi Okubo. I was already in love with this incredible show, but then I saw a picture of Kei, and good God, you're telling me that this incredible series was created by this goth baddie? We truly are not worthy. Gachiakuta tells the story of Rudo, who lives in a corrupt world where the rich and poor are sectioned into different cities, where the rich are given everything and the poor are left with nothing and forced to fight for scraps. People will watch this and still try to claim that anime isn't political. Like, come on, Joey. Rudo's life is completely flipped upside down when he's accused of a crime that he didn't commit and sent into the abyss, left for dead. What he finds is not the end, but the beginning, and this journey has genuinely had me seated and excited every single episode. I just want to stress again how much I do not have patience for shonen, and yet, here I am. Plus, the music on this puppy absolutely slaps, and this particular song made its rounds on TikTok and helped this anime go even more mainstream. Gachiakuta is still airing and only halfway through the first season. I am personally loving the direction that it's going, and I can't wait to see how it continues to evolve. For now, and for this first half, we are going to give Gachiakuta a 8 out of 10. Welcome to the NekoDecoPop Awards, where everyone's a winner, but the awards might just not be. To kick off our ceremony, we have the award for Best Anime goes to The Summer Hikaru Died. The award for worst anime goes to There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless. The award for best OP goes to the award for best ED goes to the award for best overall style goes to To Hero X. The award for best sound design goes to tie between the summer Hikaru died and Clevatess. The award for best character goes to this old guy from Sakamoto Days. Just like, how? The award for worst character goes to Mai from There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless. Cause like there's this thing called consent that you're supposed to respect, but you know, I guess little rich girl who gets everything that she wants wouldn't know about that, now would you? The award for best Tanuki goes to this bundle of joy from With You and the Rain. The award for hottest DILF goes to this dad from Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. Like, yes, please, can I have some more? The award for best George Romero cosplay goes to Nyaight of the Living Cat. The award for worst cliffhanger goes to Kaiju No.8. No, seriously, fuck you guys. The award for best suicide prevention ad goes to Takopi's Original Sin. But seriously, here's some resources if you ever need them. The award for best customer service goes to City the Animation, just for this scene alone. The award for best trash taste goes to Gachiakuta. Certain podcasters could learn a thing from you. The award for best anime within an anime goes to Uran Mirage from Witch Watch. They even had Huya Extended do a legit anime opening for it. Like, that is committing to the bit. The award for most awkward product placement goes to See You Tomorrow at the Food Court. Did you guys get sponsored by KFC and Baskin & Robbins? Because I never would have figured it out on my own. But also, like, get that bag. The award for most accurate karaoke performance goes to the award for most barely an inconveniences goes to Turkey, Time to Strike. Wait, no, that also didn't have any actual effect or stakes on the plot? Imagine that. The award for most wasted potential goes to Lord of Mysteries. Congratulations to all of our winners, and we'll see you again for next season's awards. So to wrap things up, holy shit, y'all, like, I'm just gonna say it, this is one of the best anime seasons I have seen in years. I haven't went back and tallied the last 3 years worth of reviews, and this season had the most 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s I've had since I first started reviewing. It was so good that looking at the fall season is just kind of a letdown, and that's saying a lot since 2 of my personal favorites, Ranma 1/2 and Spy X Family, are back. I think I've already yelled enough about how much I love these anime, but let's do the official wrap up anyway. My favorite anime were The Summer Hikaru Died and Dandadan. My least favorite was There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless. And the anime that surprised me the most were Clevatess and Gachiakuta. What were your favorite, least favorite, and surprise hits of the season? Let me know in the comments below. I had to cut down a decent amount of this video because I had some big feelings about these anime, and I know y'all weren't trying to be here for a full hour. So if you'd like to watch the extended director's cut, it is now up on my Patreon, which you can scan for here or click in the description and pinned comment. Shout out to all of my Patreon producers, including Sakura Sky, Karen Miriam Goldberg, Jeff Friend, Horsey Bread, and a special shout out to Legion Zero. Next video, we are going to be doing a deep dive into the Summer Hikaru Died because I have so many thoughts, like so many. Make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss it. Thank y'all so much for sticking around, and I'll see all of y'all on the next one.